See. Hello, everybody. My name is Rory. I'm a customer experience engineer here at Cube, and we're going to be doing a quick little getting started video. Let's see. This would be my first time presenting, so some quick notes. You can ask your questions in real time on the Q&A panel on the side. Recording this webinar will be available on demand, and if you have any feedback, please let us know. What we will discuss today, we'll do a quick little intro about Cube, what Cube is, and then we'll go through setting up a Cube instance or deployment, connect it to your data source or a data source, and connect it to a BI tool. And then if there's any questions we can answer at the end, we'll go through those, and there'll be some resources at the end. Okay, so in today's modern data stack, there could be a lot of chaos. You could have your metrics and business logic defined in multiple places, and it can be redefined in places, and this can get, a little messy, a little annoying, a little hard to keep up with. So Cube comes in as the universal semantic layer and tries to become that single source of truth, so you don't have to worry about these things living in multiple places. The 4 pillars of Cube are data modeling, access control, caching, and APIs. You can do, like we said, make Cube your single source of truth and do your data modeling, define your metrics, all inside Cube. Access control, we have row level, column level security, options. Caching, we use pre-aggregations as a big part of Cube to help speed up your queries and save money. And the APIs can be exposed for different use cases like embedded analytics, your BI tools, and for AI agents and chatbots. Let's see. Sorry. Why your data stack needs a semantic layer. It helps with the data consistency, helps with the data security, helps with the data performance, helps with that time to value. Like we said, the stack flexibility. So if you have Cube and you have multiple front-end BI tools, you can run them all through Cube. Now let's do a quick little getting started video. So I'm going to share my screen. One moment. Okay, looks good. So here I have a deployment. You can sign up on the cube.dev website for a free deployment and try this yourselves. All right, so I'm going to click create deployment here. Name the deployment getting started. You can pick, where your region is. For us, US East, North Virginia will be fine. If you're working with open source maybe already or something, you can import your Git repository. But today we're going to create a brand new deployment. We're going to do a Snowflake deployment. I'm going to get my credentials from off screen over here. One moment. Okay. And right now, Cube is connecting to the data source, in this case, Snowflake. All right, and you see it sees our tables. So we're going to go into this ecom here. And we're going to select these tables. And then we're going to go to the next section. And then Cube is smart enough to pick up all the dimensions, or most, usually it's pretty good. And it'll know the type, and you can toggle and switch if it's, something needs adjusting. Then you pick your primary keys, and this is going to help us for joining and making sure you don't fall into any sort of fan out or chasm traps. And again, Cube is usually pretty smart. It'll pick up, what the primary key most likely is, especially if it's named something clear like this. And we can see the join relationships here all look pretty good, except I believe that this should be the user ID primary key. Then take a review. Everything's looking good. And down here, you can pick JavaScript or YAML. So if you're somebody who uses JavaScript, you're more comfortable that way. That's what you're going to use. And if you want to use YAML, which is also powered with Jinja and Python, you would continue that way. So for today, we'll do YAML. And Cube is spinning up our data model right now. It might take a minute or two. Good coffee break moment. All right. So here we are, and we can go take a look. You see here we have our API. We're going to take a look at the data model that was generated. And you can see here we have these files. So we have what we call cubes. Each one of these cubes is representing a table. And we also have views, which we'll get to in a moment. We'll take a quick look here at the playground where you can sort of run tests, when you're developing, so you can see what the data looks like. So here we'll go to orders count, and we'll go to ID just to have some stuff created that run. And there's some data. All right, so now we're gonna follow this little getting started little tutorial here from our docs page. So let's make a new measure. As you can see, everything comes in as a dimension to Cube from when we were importing. And we're going to define the metrics now, or the measures. So let's get a completed count. So we're going to take a look at making a measure that will show us everything that's in status completed from our orders cube. So here we are in the orders cube. Scroll down to measures. We'll also enter development mode. That's an important part. All right, and then let's define our new measure. Let's make sure that looks right. We got to indent one more. And it is compiling. All right, so let's do our new completed count, and let's do it by the status of each order. That is a lot of completed orders. All right, we will go now to the back to here. Let's see, we can do the completed percentage. Just fixing the indentation. And you can have the type, which is number. Here's the definition. So it's the SQL that we're using to define the measure. And we're going to format it as a percent. We're going to save that. All right, looking good. We can add in our newest field here. All right, and 100%, so that looks right. And now, so essentially here's where we have the cubes, and the cubes are the underlying kind of bricks. And now on top of that, we can build views. So let's create a view. And what we can do is sort of expose only our views if we want to, which is a good use case for them, to the public or to our front end. And we can make all of these private actually, so that they do not show up if you don't want everyone looking at everything. Let's do this. All right, so here's a view. It's an orders view based off our orders cube and also our users cube. We'll rename this. Now, generally, people will have one file to one cube, one file to one view, but you can put multiple cubes or multiple views in one file if you wanted to. All right, let's rename this. Let's get rid of all that. And this is looking. Oh. There you go. All right, we'll save this. And now let's say we want to add in the user city. Actually, let's just do a whole new query from our view. And you can see it's orange here. So we'll do count. We'll scroll down. We'll do user city. And we will do, what's the order count? And you can see the count of each order per city. All right. So we have this all set up, and then the next thing you're going to want to do is connect it to a BI tool on the front end. So we're going to use preset for this. We're going to go to the BI integration tab and create a sink. Okay, and we'll call it Cloud Getting Started. That looks good. Now we're going to go over here to preset, and we're going to have to get a token. So we'll go to manage user settings. We will generate a new API key. We'll call this Rory1212. Rory12. Okay. And then it'll generate us a token and a secret. And then we need the workplace URL, which I believe would be, okay, we'll say, okay. Over here, if we go back here, I'm going to take it from here. If you can see up in my URL bar. It's going to generate this code for your cube file, either your cube.py or your cube.js file. I'm going to create sync. And while this is hopefully loading well, we'll show you that real quick. You see here, every cube has either a cube.js or a cube.py file, where you can do a lot of settings and options. And this is where the code for that semantic layer sync that we're using right now lives. Let's go back here. Okay, so it sees it. Now we're on dev mode, and in dev mode, the sync won't happen automatically. You'll have to initiate it, but if you push it to your production, then it will sort of automatically sync. We're going to start this sync now. And while that is going, we will go back here and we can take a look at the playground again. And you see here we have user cities and the order count. And if you look at the playground here, you can see the generated SQL that's going on. And you can see that it's doing this join on its own. It's taking care of everything. So you can always check that, which is a cool feature. You could, let's run this again real quick. Let's do some sort of ridiculous graph. All right, and you can see here too, and this is all in Playground 1.0 that I'm using right now, but I'll also show you Playground 2.0. Here you can see sort of the code that it would, here it is, yeah. The code that you would need to sort of generate that graph. It's a great place to get started if you're going to build like a React app. Let's check on our integration. Ooh, what's going on here? In progress. All right. Eventually, we will see if we go to data sets, it'll come across. Actually, it looks like it might have come across already. All right. Yep. Dev Rory, that's me. Okay. So it has connected. And we're going to take a look at the orders view here in preset. And we can make a graph real quick. Let's do user cities as our dimension here. And we will use completed count as our metric. And we will go to create. And so now this is sending to Cube, and Cube is sending to Snowflake, and then coming back again. And there you go. So it's pretty easy peasy to set that up in the first place. As you can see, we've succeeded. Since we've gone pretty quickly, I can also show you in the playground. Let's say we want to do a quick pre-aggregation. So we want to know the order count by the user city, and we want to say created at all-time day. We can run a query like this in the playground. And then we can accelerate it here with this sort of acceleration wizard and create a pre-aggregation, which is one of the parts of the caching layer. And you see here, Cube is again pretty smart. It figures everything out. Cube is very smart. I keep saying pretty. That's a bad habit. It figures everything out for you, and you can add it to your schema here. Ooh, gotta put it in YAML. See, it's better than me. All right, and then if we go over here to the data model, I think it added it to orders. You can see it added this pre-aggregation here for us. And so this will help us speed up our queries. Every time we query something that's eligible to hit this pre-aggregation, it'll use the pre-aggregation instead of going all the way back to the database. So we can build that pre-aggregation out. Shouldn't take too long. because I do not believe we have too much data in there. All right, it's good to go. And then we can go over here to our playground again and run this. And we will see that this was accelerated with the pre-aggregation. You can also always check when you're running something in the playground on the query history. It's analyzing it right now, but eventually there will be a link here that will show you essentially this, which is something you can look at and see more information about your individual queries. My internet might be a little slow. Okay, sorry again. Take a look at this query, hopefully. Show you how that works. Also, now if we run it from here, from preset, if we run the same sort of query, it'll also go to cube and hit the pre-aggregation and then not bounce all the way back to Snowflake. I think, okay, here we go. So you can see the query was run like this. You see the SQL that was generated, which is always helpful. So this would be like the SQL that went to hit either, well, in this case, it'll have hit Cube Store, but if it was Snowflake, it'll show you the query that was generated hit Snowflake. If it uses pre-aggregation, it'll show you which pre-aggregation. This is a newer one. It'll show you the security context used if you have security context set up. Oh, here's the SQL that was generated, and you see it hit a pre-aggregation column. And this is the pre-aggregation it used. So you can always check that. And I think that is that for now. Let's see, we have a question. Can we blend the data from different sources? If you mean from different sources, like different data sources, then you can use, you can have multiple data sources, in your single cube deployment, and we can use what we call roll-up joins to join the join data from the two things. So you would use a pre-aggregation, and you can do that if that is what you're asking, which I believe it is. Let me see. So yeah, I believe if I'm understanding the question correctly, that this is possible. If you have Snowflake and you have Postgres and you're blending the data and it has the same schema, you can use, again, what we're calling a roll-up join, which is in the docs. All right. I wonder if there are any other questions. I think, let me see. We still have some time, but I think that is it. Is there anything else that anyone has in terms of questions? All right. Let me stop sharing my screen. Look a little fuzzy on my screen, so my internet might be a little spotty. I apologize if that is the case for everyone else. So yeah, if there's, give it a few more minutes, see if there's any questions. Here are some office hour resources. All right, that might be good enough. Again, if you have any other questions, you can reach out to us. There's a lot more to Cube Cloud. There's security context, multi-tenancy. There's lots of cool stuff, cool features. Again, like I said, you can use multiple data sources in one deployment. You can use Cube to connect to multiple BI front end tools, or you can make a React app and embed stuff there. Let's see. I think that is it. Okay, I'm gonna leave the stage, I suppose. And it was nice showing you everybody. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us, and we'd be more than happy to help you set something up and demos. Thank you.